You two can wait outside for a moment. I just need to go in and grab something. The workshop is a little messy, so unfortunately, I won't be able to show you around.
But I wanted to have a look. A mess is what I like best.
Oh, yeah, that's not really what I mean. It's not the mess that's really the problem. It's just that the workshop is cluttered with way too much stuff. Books, files, and even ancient texts I got from the Masters of the Nightwind. Everything's piled up to the ceiling. You probably won't know where to step once you're inside.
Hoarder.
Kachina suffered quite an unfortunate series of events the last time she went inside. Well, I suppose it was my fault for being so focused on searching for information at the time that I forgot to lock the door.
I mean, no, you don't just walk into someone's house unannounced just because the door is unlocked. Who even tries the door? That's just so rude.
After entering the workshop, she was shocked to find herself face to face with a massive woven scroll from the Masters of the Nightwind, and then she turned around and knocked over a huge stack of forging blueprints. She tried to step out of the way, but tripped on a poster tube that was behind her, and then boom! The forging blueprints came crashing down right onto her head.
You make it sound so dramatic.
Oh no!
That must have hurt.
She's lucky I noticed in time. I found Kachina in a daze and managed to save her before an entire set of the history of the Children of Echoes was about to bury her. I then dragged her up to the second floor.
She was right by the door. Why didn't you just take her outside?
Ever since then, Kachina always waits outside the door and doesn't dare take a step in whenever she comes to see me.
I mean, that sounds smart and polite. Are there really that many books inside? I thought a workshop was supposed to be full of tools.
Yeah, you're an artisan and craftswoman after all. We thought there would be weapons and armor hanging all over the place.
She's an ancient name forger, not an armor maker. Not to mention that I would think that knowing history and all of that would be relevant to her job as a name engraver.
But it seems more like a library than a workshop.
Well, my primary work is forging ancient names, which is much trickier than making swords and tools. Aside from the necessary craftsmanship, I also need to consult many ancient texts.
Exactly what I just said.
You probably already know that each ancient name represents a certain spirit, behind which are countless related stories to support it. In other words, the essence of an ancient name is the physical manifestation of a certain spiritual will. And as a name engraver, when I'm working on a new ancient name, I'm not only trying to give it a physical shape, but more importantly, I'm also trying to understand the spirit contained within the name.
This is all great and all, but it's completely irrelevant to the story at hand. Can we just focus on the story at hand?
And to do that, I have to collect as many related stories as possible and read through them all.
Could we just get back to the plot?
But, as you might know, people tend to add a lot of extraneous details when it comes to stories about themselves. For stories that have been clearly exaggerated or altered, I must gather other related stories and information as cross-references. This way, I can filter out all the absurd and exaggerated details and restore the person's life to its true nature. Only in true stories can you find the authentic spirit, and this is the only way for the spirit to become an ancient name that matches its essence.
We've heard about the concept behind ancient names before, but after hearing you explain the details, Paimon can't help but think that ancient names are really powerful.
If only they could be even more powerful.
Well, no matter how powerful ancient names could be, they would never be able to suddenly turn into a blade or allow you to smash through an entire cliff in one punch. It's just a form of spiritual power that's passed down from generation to generation. It doesn't have those kinds of physically tangible effects. Well, take your own names, for example. From the moment you appeared in this world, some person had already prepared a blessing for you. And that person then condensed this blessing into your name and gave it to you as a gift. It may feel like the moment you received your name is already in the past, but it will always stay with you and move with you in the future. Names are blessings for the future from people standing in the past. Well, that's what Auntie once told me.
I'm sorry, I'm so bored, I'm literally zoning out.
And with this blessing, people will become more confident as they walk into their future. To put it another way, it's like having a lamp in your hand as you walk through the darkness of night.
Oh, Paimon gets that. If you're alone when you're walking in the dark, it's easy to get scared and tired quickly. But if someone else is walking with you, then it won't be nearly as scary. still get tired, but it'll still be a whole lot better than walking alone. The Traveler always has Paimon by her side, though, so she'll never have to worry about that.
I keep telling you, you're too codependent.
Oh, Paimon sure many wish they could be in your shoes, Traveler.
Please, you're always the one to get tired when we're on the road.
Paimon's always flying. Of course it gets tiring. But we're getting off topic. We can talk about that later.
What's the difference between you flying and me standing? They take about the same amount of effort. Trying to fall asleep on me next time. At least try not to eat so much.
Anyway, this is what Plisoli told me when I was training as a name engraver. And to be honest, I've only understood 20% of what she said at most. I've never been able to figure out the rest.
But doesn't that mean you basically don't get it?
Well, that's not entirely true. Auntie and I have at least come to a consensus on the most important thing. You know what? I am sick of talking. We can talk about all of this later.
How convenient.
Please, wait a moment while I grab my things.
If you were sick of talking, then why'd you bother starting? Shalyn opens the door and walks into a workshop. Some sailing crashing sounds come from the workshop, followed by some agonizing creaks and squeaks. Eventually, Shalyn rushes out of the door with a box in her arms. She then turns around and kicks the door closed, shutting the sound of dusty books falling to the ground inside.
Did you hear a whole section of something collapse in there just now?
It's fine, it's fine. It was just a bunch of very old ancient name records. I've already made copies of them.
Have you considered bookshelves?
I, kept this set of phlogiston wedges in the back, so it wasn't easy to take out. I had to resort to brute force. Come on, let's go disassemble the central inscription.
You even have a roof. Why don't you put some stairs or a ladder up to the roof and use that for storage? It's not like it's gonna get wet. You're under rock. Help her dismantle the blade journal inscription. Where? Up by the statue. I'm going foot. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing any of the other Tribal Chronicles. If they're as immensely boring as this is, I'm literally, like, I want to just get off Genshin right now. I'm just so frustrated at how boring this is. Like, I could be spending my time so much better than sitting here and suffering through this. So I might even need to take a break after I finish this before I continue, even though I want to do the new land, because I'm just so frustrated at how lame this is. So no, I won't be doing the other Tribal Chronicles.
Here we are. This is the place.
I have way better things to do with my time.
This cliff is pretty high. What are we going to do here? Are we going to climb to the very top and then throw this inscription down the cliff?
We're disassembling it, not destroying it, Paimon. I'm sure she knows what she's doing.
I'm going to use phlogiston to make an engraving circle on the cliff wall. That will allow me to investigate the internals of the central inscription.
I mean, that's great, but is the engraving circle gonna stay there forever and ever? Because that's kind of weird.
Now let me see if this thing can even turn on. I was still an apprentice last time I used it. Before we attempt to engrave the inside pattern of an ancient name with phlogiston, we always use this to draw out the engraving diagram on a cliff or open ground.
Why?
Only after we've confirmed that phlogiston can flow properly through the internal engravings can we start formally working on the small internal engravings of the ancient name.
Why can't you just test it on like a piece of paper or something that's disposable? Why would you put it somewhere that it's going to scar the land for life? That just seems like a very strange choice.
If we want to dismantle the central inscription in a non-destructive manner, we'll have to use this thing. I really don't want to engrave such a large diagram with my bare hands.
Oh, so you'll be able to see what it looks like on the inside without ruining Tlasoli's inscription?
For the most part. If it were just an ordinary unfinished ancient name piece, I'd just take it apart and pour phlogiston into the internal engravings to see everything. But since it's a central inscription, it would be better not to destroy the blessing that Auntie has prepared for Nechka.
So, Shilonen, does this central inscription fall under the 20% you understand about ancient names, or the other 80% you don't understand?
There's an 80% chance that it's part of the 20%.
Oh, don't worry. As I said, Auntie and I share an understanding of the most important principle, which is names are intrinsically valuable.
That really doesn't help.
Only by having names can things be sorted and categorized. They allow the world to become more orderly and identifiable.
I disagree. I don't think the names are necessary. The boxes are necessary. To me, everything needs to be in a box. It needs to have, like, attributes given to it and, like, terms and, like, things that describe people to put them in boxes. Then I can sort and categorize them. Names specifically don't seem necessary to me per se. It's just things about somebody I need to know.
For example, when I order ore, I would usually say I need volcanic crystals of about 35% purity and no more than 3% of impurities.
Yeah.
Without
and?
specific names, I would only be able to go to the ore merchant and say, I want this and this. No, this isn't it. That one. No, not that one either. Yeah, you see what I mean?
That's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. And we're talking about people's names, not the names of items, which are two very different things.
Names are a crucial part of how we standardize our workflow. Without names, the work would be impossible.
So you're talking about it from a technical
Yes,
perspective.
because forging ancient names is first and foremost a technical job. There's no debating that. As for the question of why it's important, as long as it does not affect your ability to perform your work, you'll gradually understand it as you put the process into practice.
You really care about efficiency above all else. Sounds like the most efficient approach.
After all, creating an ancient name is quite the complicated process. Well, let me break it down
Please
even further.
don't. Just
We're not in the
fucking get
tribe
on
right
with
now
it.
Anyway. Essentially,
I don't
by forging
care.
ancient names, I'm assigning nicknames to the heroes in Natlan's history.
I genuinely could not care less. Just get on with it.
Giving someone a name is a subjective expression. You just need to express your hopes and wishes for them. But giving someone a nickname is a much more objective expression. To come up with a fitting and accurate nickname requires much thought and observation.
I don't agree with any of that, because isn't the point of an ancient name giving them the name of a forebear, which isn't a nickname, it's giving them attributes of a previous person.
If ancient names or nicknames aren't descriptive enough, no one will remember them anyway. So the best I can do is gather all the information I could and try to come up with the most fitting nicknames possible. Even a minor mistake in the process could cause people to misunderstand the nickname. For a name engraver such as myself, such mistakes would be considered a major blunder.
Paimon, nicknames are your specialty. They absolutely are not. So your nicknames need more thought and observation, Paimon.
Paimon isn't trying to come up with a nickname for Shilonin. Besides, all of Paimon's nicknames have been very descriptive.
They've been terrible.
Everyone can remember them.
They've been terrible.
Phew. Now I'm curious. Why don't you, come up with one for me?
Please don't.
Are you serious?
Of course. This is also my line of work, you know. Go.
A nickname? Shilonin. Well, she uses phlogiston to forge weapons and make names for others.
Don't stress, Paimon. You better make it a good one.
Smith?
How's that a nickname? It's literally her job.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. And quite fitting, too. I'll remember it.
It's terrible.
But, you should keep observing my work, Paimon. Maybe you'll come up with an even better nickname. Right, okay. Time to make like a smith and start smithing. Watch closely.
I'm watching. Connect the activated phlogiston wedges. In any particular order?
Adjust the inclination by 2 degrees. Stop. The error margin is within an acceptable amount, but I'll extend the inscription link a little more just to be safe. I'll leave some space here.
Why are you
When
going
the linked
backwards?
engravings are activated, the inscriptions here will overlap
Why
with
did
each
you
other.
do that when I pressed down? What the hell? You look like
There.
a crazy woman.
That should complete the flow.
I don't get why you needed to put that on a wall. You could have drawn it with a stick in the ground.
You were running all over that cliff as if it was flat ground.
She's making it look like it's something intricate and elaborate and massive. It's like you literally could have picked up a stick and just tracked it in the dirt. There was nothing complicated about what you just did. Is that the power of the Children of Echoes?
Oh, no, it doesn't have anything to do with my tribe. It's just the, phlogiston adhesive I have on my shoes. But after all that running around, I'll have to infuse them with more phlogiston again. Huh. I should prepare a spare supply of phlogiston to bring with me next time.
Don't tell me you're actually already covered head to toe in work equipment.
More or less, yeah. I usually have at least the key equipment on hand. I can show them to you when we next find the time, but let's get to work first. Let me see. Start with Anchor 1 and activate it with Density 3 phlogiston.
Whoa! A super huge diagram just appeared! Flasoli's central inscription is even floating!
I don't know why you have to make that sound so dramatic, Paimon. After some time, the blasts of phlogiston cease, and the central inscription returns to Shalonen's hands.
So are you done checking the inscription, Shilonen? How does it look?
I didn't find any anomalies in the phlogiston engraving. All the adjustments are indeed based on ancient name engraving techniques.
So you're saying everything's normal?
That means we can help Flasoli and Nichka now, right?
Well, probably, but I have good news and bad news. Oh, but I'm also just going to go ahead and share both, so it's not like you'll have a choice in the matter.
Paimon will cover her ears after the good news.
Well, even if you cover your ears, the issue will still continue to exist. But, before we get to that, I want to ask the Traveler a question. What are your thoughts on absorbing memories?
I think it's fucking abysmal, and you really should not be doing this. Why are you tampering and hurting many other people for the sake of one? It's just not fair. It's necessary to save Nechka. I really don't care about Nechka. Haven't met her, don't know her, doesn't look like she has good quality of life. And why is her life more important than everybody else's? It somehow doesn't seem right.
I knew you felt the same way, and that'll save me some initial explanation. I've never been very good at that anyway. It's hard to control the absorption of memories. Technically speaking, this type of inscription has the power to do far more than absorb memories related to a single person.
Can it accidentally absorb other memories as well? And also, it's not going to fill the void. The person's always going to know that they have a gap in their memory.
By herself, Auntie can't handle that level and scope of work, but if she has accomplices, it is completely possible for her to use this inscription to accomplish far bigger things.
Accomplices? You make it sound like she's committing a crime!
Well, she is, isn't she? She's forcibly stealing people's memories. I mean, that's a bit of an abstract crime, but it's a crime nonetheless.
Well, here's the good news. Yes, this Blaze Gem inscription would be the perfect tool to commit crimes, but we haven't found any accomplices or signs that she intends to put it to such uses. From a purely objective standpoint, we can consider that possibility as yet to be confirmed for now. The bad news is, there's still an underlying problem with this Blaze Gem inscription that cannot be ignored. I believe I've mentioned this before. Ancient names operate with the help of the Wyab, granting them the power to read information kept in the ley lines. In this process, the Wyab actually function like relays, helping the ancient name bearer sense the information from within the ley lines. If you remove the Wyab from the process and don't use any tools, then finding a specific story is akin to trying to scoop up a specific grain of sand from a rushing river.
So before you're even able to retrieve the sand, you would most likely drown.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who attempts to do so will likely lose most of their cognitive function or become a babbling madman who talks to themselves all day long.
I feel like she's trying to say that her concern is for Tlazoli, but honestly, fuck Tlazoli. She's a terrible human being. What about the people whose memories are getting taken?
Now, let's consider the memories that Auntie has gathered as the ley line, and Nechka as the only ancient name bearer of this ley line. There's no way Auntie would let Nechka plunge into the river of memories without any tools. She'd only be overwhelmed by the surge of memories. And considering that Nechka has forgotten all of her past, she'll be unable to work on her own to accurately find the correct past. Only Aunt Tlisoli can help her filter the correct memories of her past. So, if my hypothesis is correct, Auntie is actually planning on turning herself into Nechka's Wyab to help her extract the corresponding memories in the different situations she may face. In an ideal world, this would be perfectly fine, as long as every extracted memory is correct. Nechka would essentially be getting her past back. And I also believe that there won't be any mistakes in everything that Auntie remembers about Nechka.
Except for the fact that Zoli hasn't been present for every single second of Nechka's life, and she's not been privy to the memories Nechka has of other people and meeting other people and talking to other people when she hasn't been present.
But Auntie is not a Wyab. Her body won't be able to handle the load for long.
I thought we already accepted the fact that she was sacrificing herself for Nechka. Why is that the problem? That's the least of our worries right now. If she wants to kill herself, she can go right ahead. That's not the problem. So at any moment she might... I see, this is the problem that we kind of... Who cares? It is literally established that people are losing their memories of Nechka because those memories are being taken by their Blazed inscriptions. And then those memories are then going to be taken from the Blazed inscriptions into Nechka. These people are not getting their memories back. It is only going to get worse. Why is that not the primary concern? I just don't get it. It's not like I'm making this up. This is literally what the game just told us. Why is that not the concern?
But how can we solve this problem? No matter how we try, Tlasoli will...
I don't care. If she wants to kill herself for the sake of her child, she can go right ahead. Who am I to stop her? She's already made up her mind and she's ready to pay the price. So just bloody let her.
Names are blessings for the future from people standing in the past. I've also made up my mind. Come on, let's go see Auntie.
This game is not focusing on the right things at all. You're not considering about the people losing their memories, and I'm really frustrated for it. Why do they not matter? Why do their memories not matter? Why is Nechka more important than literally everybody else? And again, what kind of life is Nechka going to leave? She's not going to have a mother. That's great for a child. She's not going to be able to have, you know, fun relationships with people around her that she once knew because no one's going to remember her. And if anything, what you're doing to your daughter is cruel. On two fronts. Oh, there you are.
Shilonen. It looks like you've made your decision. Am I right?
Yes, here's some research that I've done. You can reference it to modify the way the central inscription operates. I'll also help you continue working on the Blaze Gem inscriptions, but I must have complete control over all the inscriptions and the ability to oversee their uses. The memories that can be absorbed by the inscription will be limited solely to Nechka's past. We'll plan a set time frame together from which the memories can be drawn from shortly. If you attempt to extract any memories beyond this scope, then I'll consider that as committing a criminal act and halt all work related to the central inscription. After the memory bank is constructed, the Blaze Gem inscription's absorption functions must be stopped immediately. Only functionalities for outputting memories will be kept.
I accept. Thank you, Shilonen. I really...
Auntie, you know I can't stand it when you do this. If you needed my help, you should have just said so. There's no need to beat around the bush like you did.
Using technology for ancient names to forge other things without permission is no trivial matter.
Yes, it's a major departure from the technology's intended use, but it's nothing compared to a child who needs help, compared to a name that's about to be lost. But once this is all over, you must come with me to see Pakal and discuss everything that happened.
That's fine. I'm willing to accept any punishment for my little Nechka.
All right, let's clear off the table and come up with a plan. I need some time to consider how to let Nechka control the Blaze Gem inscription on her own and extract the memories from her past. By the way, did you give the book to Nechka?
How could I just hand her a birthday present that you specially brought for her? I've picked out a box and packaged it up. Wait till her birthday and then bring it to her. It'll be a nice surprise.
No, it's just an old book. There's no need to...
Oh! Is Nechka up again? But what was all that noise? It sounded like something broke.
Oh no, did you fall? Maybe she knocked something over.
Oh, what if something fell on her? We should check. Paimon will go have a look.
Nachka, don't hurt yourself.
I thought Sazoli
Shilonen,
would
is that
stop
you?
her. Whoa. Why do you have memory of Shilonen?
You're Nichka?
How many times have I told you? Don't get out of bed on your own. You were running a fever yesterday.
Hello, Nachka.
Thank you for the book. I've already read it several times.
What is happening right now?
You've already read it? But didn't Tlasoli package up the book that Shilonen brought?
No, she's all mixed up. The one she read isn't from Shilonen. It's one I bought for her before.
But then how does she know who Shilonen is if she has no memory?
A few days ago, she told me she wanted a book. I know nothing about these kinds of books, so I had no choice but to go to the tribe and look for a copy. I eventually found one and bought it for her. I put it in her room once I got back.
But again, she doesn't know Shilonen. And she doesn't know that Shilonen was going to get her a book. So why would she think that the book that her mother gave her was from Shilonen? I'm so confused.
Soon after, she suddenly developed a fever. I was so busy taking care of her that I forgot about the book and even forgot that she had asked you for a gift.
Auntie, do you know which version of the book you bought?
Which version? The shopkeeper said it was the one with the perfect ending to the story. Apparently, that's the only one you can find on the market now. Ugh. It's all my fault. You wasted your money, and now it won't even be a surprise.
Oh, it's all right. It's just a book. As long as Nachka enjoys it, that's what matters.
I'm so confused.
Oh, right. Nichka probably doesn't know us. We're your Paimon and Miss Traveler. Mom told me about you. Oh, seems like everyone knows who we are now.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, Nachka seems to be doing pretty well today. Since she's been stuck indoors for the last few days, why don't we take her out for a walk?
Why are you checking her temperature? Shouldn't you be checking for abyssal energy in her body? Since that's what her latest injury was from, and it's what's condemned her to be in her bed, that she seems to be walking just fine. And is what caused her to lose her memories, and you're the only person who can, like, deal with abyssal energy. Instead, you're checking her fucking temperature? What?
Take her for a walk. But considering her condition, I don't think she...
Oh, don't worry, Auntie. She'll be safe with the Traveler and me. We won't leave the tribe, and if anything comes up, we'll be sure to find the doctor immediately. Besides, it's her birthday in a few days, and we need to go to the tribe to buy some things. Let's give her a proper celebration. What do you think, Auntie?
I promise I'll be good, Mom. Didn't you say before that I need more fresh air?
All right. As you wish. I also happen to have a few repaired blaze gem inscriptions that I need to get back to the tribe. We can go together. Wait for a moment. I'll go get Nachka's water bottle and some towels. Some medicine. Oh, and a parasol.
You live literally 2 seconds from the tribe. Gisela enters Nachka's room. After quickly packing, she comes back out.
Talk about being prepared.
We can camp out with all that stuff.
It doesn't hurt to be prepared. Okay, let's go. Please be good now, Nachka. Don't cause any trouble for Shilonen and the others.
Oh, you can let me carry these. And don't be a stranger, Nachka. Feel free to tell us anything. And even I was quite a handful for Auntie when I was little.
What rich phrasing. Don't be a stranger. You're literally all strangers to this child at this moment in time.
Yeah! It's not often you get to go out to play, so just have fun. Everything will be fine.
Well, that's careless. Do you go tell the child who has a chronic illness and, is bedridden or hospital ridden and just like, oh, you can go out to play, everything will be fine? Yeah, no. If you don't stir up some trouble when you're little, then you'll never get the chance. This child, what the fuck is happening? Tlazoli said she was attacked by abyssal creatures and had abyssal energy in her, and then she lost her memory as a result, and then she caught a fever and shit just hit the fan. She's got to be suffering from abyssal energy for the rest of her life from what they've told us so far. Yet suddenly we're all, if you don't stir up a little trouble when you're little, you'll never get the chance. Go get him, Tiger. What am I reading?
Okay. Thanks, everyone. And please don't worry, Mom. I'll be good.
This
Let's go look
is
for Igno.
such a stupid
I've
quest.
had her blaze gem inscription for a while now, and I'll...
Such a stupid quest. I just feel like I'm losing brain cells. Give the Blaze Drum inscription back to Icknal.